Hey, what's up guys? Dr. M3 here with a new video for you. Yes, as you can see, it is winter time. The roads aren't that great. I'm driving the Tesla Model Y and yeah, something happened. And yeah, we all have that person or a group of people in our friends group that believe that they're so talented a driver. They believe they're Sean Boswell from Tokyo Drift. They believe that they're so talented, much more talented, they can defy the laws of physics, and well, we know a lot better. So in this video, I'm going to talk to you about how I narrowly avoided being completely taken out by a minivan on these wet, icy roads in Western Pennsylvania. We're going to talk about how you need to drive in the wintertime. So without further ado, let's just get into that video. Alright guys, so my journey started at about 5:30 in the morning, and as you can see, just looking behind me, that most people are staying in the right-hand lane. And why is that? We all know that the lane that's most traveled is probably going to be the clearest. And you can see exactly what's happening here. If you take a look at the left-hand lane, you can see there's a lot of slush, there's a lot of snow in the middle of that lane, and even the shoulder itself is poorly prepared. So if you want to get complete control as best as you can in these weather conditions, it's best to kind of stay in the lane that's the most traveled. And that's exactly what I'm doing here, staying in the right-hand lane so I have the maximum amount of traction in these icy conditions. So as we're moving along, we come up against a semi, and so I slowed down and tried to match their speed and trying to look at the left-hand lane for the most appropriate time to pass this semi that's directly in front of me. That's slowing down because he's having a lot of trouble. I then find the perfect opportunity, pass him in a very controlled fashion, and then I decided to go back into the right-hand lane when there's sufficient distance between my car and the truck, because they also have even more difficulty trying to slow down or stop under these conditions. To my surprise, I had this minivan just fly by me in the left-hand lane after I've gotten out of it. And they, of course, recognizing that that lane is poorly prepared, decided to come into the right-hand lane, which is the right decision to make. But as you can see, he is accelerating very quickly away from me that I actually lose them in the distance. We then came up against another car in the left-hand lane that had slowed down. That's a Subaru Legacy that's there. And they are all-wheel drive, unlike that minivan, which is a front-wheel drive car. So that Legacy moved ahead, moved into the right-hand lane, and now we're slowing again because the conditions demand that we, in fact, slow down. You're going to see what the minivan driver does here in just a minute. Alright, so as you can see, the minivan is now accelerating. We're approaching the merger of two major interstates. The first one is the one we're on, which is 2 lanes. We're in the number 2 lane. And the second interstate is 4 lanes that will merge into 3. I want you to pay close attention to that semi-truck that's in the number 2 lane. And again, we're approaching, and watch this minivan, what it does. It's in the number 2 lane of the highway we're on, and we're now on the other highway, so this is now the number 4 lane. You see, I've merged over into the number 3 lane, and this minivan is going to accelerate ahead of the truck that's in the number 2 lane at this point. The road conditions are not the greatest. You can just look at how the roads are prepared. The minivan now switches into the number 2 lane, and I'm going to still stay in the number 3 lane because the conditions are just so poor that it makes no sense to keep going. We're passing, you can see the minivan now has moved over into the number 1 lane on this interstate. Okay, so because my lane is pretty good, I've decided that, you know what, I'm going to stay right here. My lane's prepared. You can see I'm now passing that truck from before that's in the number 2 lane. I am perfectly fine where I am. That truck's doing well. We're able to, you know, hold our lanes. There's not a lot going on, but take a look at the number 1 lane. There's still a lot of snow and slush in that lane, and Here we go, guys. This is where it gets really, really interesting. We pass this car. Look at the minivan. Wow! Now, if I was in that number 2 lane, I would have been taken out entirely. We're going to take a look at that in slow-mo in just a second, but here it is from a couple of other angles. Here it is looking from the back removed. Wow! And look at that right in the lane in front of that truck. Just insane. And you can see the flash behind my car as it spins out. That was amazingly close. Wow, let's take a look at that again in slow-mo from a few angles. Alright guys, that's gonna do it for this video. Again, just be mindful in the winter time. This is crazy stuff. Make sure that your car is fully prepared for the winter. I did do a video on that. Go ahead and hit the card up above. You can go ahead and check that video. Yeah, if you're even if you're driving an all-wheel drive car, just remember the laws of physics applies to everything. Don't be this guy. Don't be the Mustang. Don't be this other guy. Crazy stuff. Be safe out there. Again, we'll see you guys in the next video. Peace. Keep motoring, even on slippery roads. Ciao.